Hello everybody and welcome back to the Hero Spotlight. Today we'll be taking a second look at everyone's favorite firecaster, the Pyromancer. The Pyromancer is a lightly armored short-range burst mage that features the highest spike damage in the game in exchange for the highest skill floor of all the casters. Unlike all the other caster classes in the game, the Pyromancer actually wants to get up close and personal to use their axe to deal damage. Unfortunately though, due to their light armor, this means that the Pyromancer will play closer to the playstyle of a rogue than a traditional caster. Couple this with the fact that every Pyromancer skill is a short-range skill shot with an exceptionally high mana and stamina cost, and you'll have a class that is extremely difficult to play well. All that being said though, once you master the Pyromancer's skill shots and able to consistently land all your skills, you will send people to the graveyard faster than you ever thought possible. Starting at level 1 you have Inferno Orb, and it's very similar to the Wizard's Fireball except for the fact that it has significantly shorter range and a bit more damage. The skill has quite a short range of about 7 blocks, and it is not the fastest projectile in the world, but doing approximately 175 damage per shot definitely makes up for this. And just like a Wizard's Fireball, being able to consistently land Inferno Orbs is what's going to separate the good Pyros from the great ones. Also at level 1 you have Inferno Flash. It's a mid-range teleport, good for chasing and general mobility. Now unfortunately teleports in this game have a set distance, so using them as a gap closer on a melee class can be a bit disorienting and not often your best opportunity to use them. Instead of mindlessly using it to chase people, try using Inferno Flash to counter the enemy's mobility skills like Blink or Backflip, and to dodge highly telegraphed skill shots like Plague Bomb. Never underestimate the power of a short cooldown teleport. Being able to dodge almost every skill shot that your enemy throws at you will surely win you most fights you run up to. Since the Pyromancer is a melee class, it does come with 4 melee skills. These are Maim, Dark Blade, Curse, and Chaotic Strength. Maim is identical to the Ranger skill with the same name. It's a short range slow that interrupts and can only be used if your axe is out. Dark Blade is cute. It steals 70 mana from your opponent, but it only costs 50, so you get 20 back. Not really worth it if you ask me. Chaotic Strength, it's also one of those pretty useless skills. It almost completely nullifies your magic damage to give you a slight, pretty insignificant boost to your melee damage, so again, not really worth the cast. Curse though is great. When you curse a target, 50% of their melee attacks will miss, making it great against other melee opponents. At level 20 you get a cool skill. This is Dragon's Breath. It's got a short warm-up that doesn't slow you down at all, which is great, before releasing a small AoE of fire damage. The range is nothing to write home about, but it does a pretty good chunk of damage, so it's definitely something you want to use every time you have an opportunity. Now Pyro also has 2 really cool skills that interact with fire. The first one is Flame Shield and the second one is Cauterize. When you activate Flame Shield, it makes you completely invulnerable to all sources of fire damage for the next 7 seconds. Lava, burning, fireballs, pretty much every Pyromancer skill, and lots of other sources. And Cauterize simply removes any remaining fire ticks on your target. It's very good if someone's been hit by your fireball, and you want to negate that extra 30 damage. At level 30 you get a great skill. This is Dark Bolt. It shoots a small projectile that moves fairly fast and deals heavy AoE damage when it lands. It also withers any target that it hits, dealing minor damage but reducing any healing input that the target would take by 30%. It's good damage, decent range, and fast projectile speed, make it a skill that you definitely want to cast whenever you have an opportunity to do so. However, Dark Bolt is in the running for the most volatile skill in the game. Dark Bolt has a tendency to just outright do nothing. Sometimes the projectile will shoot out, take your mana, go on cooldown, but not explode and do no damage at all. That being said, this skill is good enough that you still should be using it as actively as possible. Don't let the chance of it failing deter you from casting this great skill. And coming in at level 50, this is a great skill. This is Great Combustion. It's a huge fiery explosion that does a crap ton of damage and a big stun. It has a pretty short range and a decent sized warm-up, so it is fairly difficult to land, but the very high damage and the extremely powerful stun definitely make it worth your time. Hitting your target with your Great Combustion is absolutely essential to mastering Pyromancer, so I highly recommend you spend a lot of time practicing with this skill to make sure that you never miss. Good time to use this skill is when your enemies turn to face you or when they're just far enough away that they can't get the interrupt off. And it's just plain common sense, don't cast Great Combustion when your enemy's running away from you. It's definitely not a tool to let you stick to your opponents, it's more of an in-fight burst weapon. At level 55 you get a great skill for Pyromancer. This is Ender Pearls. Essentially it just lets you throw Ender Pearls exactly like vanilla. It's a fantastic way to initiate the fight because it lets you close that massive gap, and you can throw 1 in combat on a 60-second cooldown if you need to really close that gap up. The final skill that a Pyromancer get used to be complete garbage, now it's actually a really entertaining skill. This is Doomwave. After a quick warm-up, Doomwave unleashes a massive amount of Ender Pearls all over the place that deal extremely heavy damage and teleport you to each and every one of them. It's not that useful in a wide open field, but if you can get an enemy in a small tight place, this skill can do insane damage. If you notice in this clip, Doomwave actually does 4 hearts of damage to this guy. Now I'm not going to lie to you, playing Pyromancer is extremely difficult. The extremely high mana and stamina costs mean you really have to balance yourself and not spam your skills like crazy. In addition, the skills are usually really difficult to land. To start off a fight, you want to initiate with Ender Pearls. Get as close as you can before start wailing on your target. Cast Dark Bolt whenever you can, and whenever you have close enough, make sure you use Dragon's Breath for the extra damage. Look for an opportunity to use Great Combustion. If you notice an enemy is going to a corner and they have to go through you to get away, this is the perfect time to use the skill. And always make sure to follow up a successful Great Combustion with as many auto attacks and Inferno Orbs as you can for the most damage damage possible. So if you're looking for an extremely aggressive playstyle that involves hacking people to pieces with an axe, or 100 to 0ing people with your burst setup, look for the Pyromancer and start burning people. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the Hero Spotlight, and I'll see you guys next time.